Welcome to my multimedia presentation for Assignment 1. This presentation will explore what it means to be literate and numerate in the 21st century and how these skills are applied both internal and external to the classroom. Literacy and numeracy are concepts that no longer refer to reading words and solving mathematical equations. Prior to the 21st century, the ability to read and write or be literate and numerate separated the educated from the uneducated. However, in the 21st century, being surrounded by technology in a data-rich society, the definition of literacy and numeracy becomes complex and not so simple to define. This presentation aims to give you an in-depth meaning of literacy and numeracy in the 21st century and its demands across the Australian curriculum with focus on a specific learning area. According to the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, or ACARA, a literate individual is an individual who has developed the knowledge, abilities, and characteristics which allow for them to interpret and utilize language, both internal and external to the classroom settings and in various contexts. In order to be a successfully functioning citizen in today's information-rich society, one must acquire these skills that allow for them to comprehend and compose text through various platforms such as listening or speaking, reading or writing, viewing or creating. The ability to do these things means that the individual must possess the following 4 elements: grammatical knowledge, text knowledge, visual knowledge, and word knowledge. These knowledges should also be transferable from one context to another. According to the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, or the ASCD, there are 7 elements that a literate individual encompasses. A literate individual must be able to demonstrate independence with text, build strong content knowledge, respond to varying demands of audience, task, purpose, and discipline, comprehend as well as critique, value evidence, use technology and digital media strategically and capably, and come to understand perspectives of other cultures and people. Furthermore, ACARA refers to literacy as a general capability and encompasses the 4 main elements previously mentioned. However, literacy also expands to the ability to behave in certain ways in specific contexts and in turn assists individuals in becoming effective learners and functioning members of society. Again, it is important to note that literacy does not simply refer to the ability to read and write in a chosen language. Instead, literacy spans broadly across the curriculum. Literacy can be found in the arts as students build upon their knowledge in how to entertain or engage with their audience, through economics and business by interpreting information and utilizing special languages and terminology, and in the sciences by problem solving, interpreting and describing data and information, as well as using specialized languages and terminology. Whilst these types of literacies are context specific, the patterns and tools used to comprehend or construct are similar despite holding different meaning. Similar to literacy, numeracy can also be seen across many learning areas. ACARA states that numeracy is also a general capability and encompasses 6 core elements. These elements are using measurement, estimating and calculating with whole numbers, recognizing and using patterns and relationships, using fractions, decimals, percentages, ratios, and rates, using spatial reasoning, interpreting statistical information, and using measurement. These 6 elements can be seen beyond the mathematical framework, and it is a teacher's responsibility to exhibit to their students how their mathematical knowledge can be transferable in various settings, both internal and external to the classroom. For example, numeracy relates to the ability to interact with the world around us in a mathematical manner. Numerate individuals are able to then plan holidays, pay bills, make sound financial decisions, and educated estimates in their daily life. Additionally, A numerate person is one that has the confidence and willingness to engage in tasks both autonomously and collaboratively, as well as obtaining the ability to apply their mathematical knowledge in a flexible and adaptable manner. Therefore, pedagogy should be able to empower students to apply numeracy to almost all aspects of their lives, and students should be equipped with the transferable skills early on in order for them to be successfully functioning citizens in order to meet society's demands. So why is there such a strong emphasis on literacy and numeracy in the Australian curriculum? The Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians state that our citizens should be equipped with the appropriate skills and knowledge required to partake in day-to-day living activities. Due to the ever-expanding use and accessibility of technology, our society has become what is known as multiliterate. To be multiliterate in the 21st century is important and incorporates the ability to have competencies in the following: information literacy, media literacy, digital literacy, scientific literacy, numeracy, financial literacy, and health literacy. Each of these literacies are utilized on a day-to-day basis and are often invisible to the user. Acquiring these literacies is vital as we want our children to grow up to be informed citizens who are able to live independently, vote, read the newspaper, and simply be able to construct and comprehend all types of information. For example, in a population where health is so important, fast food restaurants have kilojoules or calories presented on their menu. It is then up to the patrons to apply meaning to these numbers in order to make informed decisions about their food choices. The ability to be accurately informed in this area and acquiring this health literacy empowers the individual with the right tools on how to appropriately interpret these numbers and give them meaning. As demonstrated, context-specific literacy is an extension of general literacy and numeracy skills. What this means is, whilst English teaches the skills on grammatical structure, syntax, semantics, disciplinary literacy focuses mostly on the unique language that is found within a particular discipline such as science. The concepts learned in English or numeracy, for that matter, could be translated to other subjects which focus on specialized learning areas such as the sciences. The pedagogy should equip students with the right tools so that they are able to flexibly apply their content knowledge to discipline-specific knowledge. In science, students are not only required to read literature surrounding experiments, theories, and protocols, but also be able to accurately measure formulas, record quantitative data appropriately, as well as input this data into digital software and interpret the output. Additionally, when entering a science classroom, the student must familiarize themselves with new terms, new words, new elements, and structures within the scientific field. These words and elements range from scientific instruments such as beakers, conical flasks, and Bunsen burners, right through to learning all the elements on the periodic table. In addition, scientific literacy is very context-specific and requires the learner's ability to interpret data, define terms within a scientific framework, apply meaning to numbers, translate this meaning, and assess implications of the results. Therefore, science teachers are fundamentally teachers of new language acquisition. Science teachers must also guide students on how to think and behave like scientists, demonstrating and educating learners on problem solving, the gathering of data, the reproduction of valid results, and specialized report writing. In a science classroom, a focus on inquiry-based learning would assist the students in constructing their own rationale and proposing their own questions or hypotheses, and allowing for them to discover the best way to answer these questions through investigation and discovery. This means that students are able to learn practically and conduct research in the same way a scientist would, in turn allowing them to increase and improve their scientific literacy skills. Let's take, for example, middle school science, where students learn about solids and liquids and gases. I would first ask the student some questions which would allow for me to gauge pre-existing knowledge base. I would then show a student a short YouTube video on the different states of solid, liquid, and gas. My next step would be to allocate and task students with appropriate readings within their textbooks in order for them to gain a theoretical knowledge of the concepts and underpinnings around this topic. Once students have completed their readings, I would set up an experiment that they could run in groups or pairs, allowing them to conduct an experiment and expose them to thinking in the same way a scientist would. Following this experiment, I would task students to write their empirical report with an introduction, materials, methods, results, and discussion. By running lessons in this way, students are exposed what it would be like to think and solve problems in the same manner a real-life scientist would. This is important for them to be exposed to from an early year level, as students soon have to choose subjects in which they are specializing in senior school, which in turn would be potential prerequisites for further studies if that is the path they choose to take.